Well, hello everybody. This is Bill Kalmanson, none other than the Rebel Without Applause. And once again, not coming to you from my movie studio apartment, but from a very special place, very far away from the land of law, the wood of the holly under the sign. I am in the port city of Morocco called Essaouira. Behind me is an old Portuguese fort, and behind those walls is the Medina where we're staying here tonight. In front of me is the wide expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Unfortunately for me as a surfer, I'm a little off-season wave-wise, but this place is a mecca for wind. But all that notwithstanding, I am sitting here in the park named after one of my cinematic heroes, Orson Welles. This is the Parque de Orson Welles in Spanish, the Garden of Orson Welles, and it's named after the fabled American movie director because it was at this very location that he filmed Shakespeare's masterful meditation on malevolence, sex and jealousy and gender, that being, of course, Othello, the Moor of Venice. And Orson Welles chose this to be the location for Cyprus. You can see that it works very well if you're sitting where I am of the fort and the ramparts and the overlooks where the gun emplacements. And having seen this movie, I can easily see the location and how beautiful it worked as a fortress that would be overlooking the windswept ocean or the Mediterranean of Cyprus. And so here I am at the location of Shakespeare's Othello, which for me has special meaning because this year, episodes 12 through 16 of A Rebel Without Applause, I did the podcast premiere of Othello, and so I felt very much in communion with my hero, Orson Welles. So I'm sitting here in front of the castle that served as his main location for the movie Othello, which he did in 1961, which won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and is a true Shakespearean movie masterpiece. He manipulated the play quite a bit. It transcends the theatrical limitations and becomes really a great movie. And I urge you to find it, see it, rent it, download it, whatever you can. But more importantly, check out my production of Othello, 5 episodes, each episode an act. And they're episodes 12 through 16 of this season 2. And I feel like I'm making sort of a theatrical pilgrimage here to Orson Welles' fabled location here in the town of Essaouira in southern Morocco, or we're about 150 miles south of Casablanca. Yesterday we drove down from just north of Rabat, which is the capital of Morocco, and visited the main mosque there and the mausoleums. But now I'm in an altogether different part of the world that is Morocco, and making a theatrical pilgrimage to the cinema location of Orson Welles' Othello. Really a brilliant play, and he brought it to cinematic life here. And I remember when I first saw it in college, and I'm going, God damn, that movie, it just looks so real. It doesn't feel like it's all theatrical. It just feels like it happened. And that was, I think, the triumph of what Orson Welles did with his Othello, as opposed to Laurence Olivier's version of Othello, which is really different. It feels much more theatrical. As a matter of fact, it was a filmed expression of the Royal Shakespeare theatrical production, no less brilliant in its own way, but for pure cinema and just courageousness in the pursuit of Shakespeare, Orson Welles deserves all the glory. And here I am sitting in front of the fortress walls that served as a location for Othello. Also, Essaouira was gained importance in cultural legend because none other than Jimi Hendrix spent some time here back in the early 60s. So this place has definitely a cultural history for Americans and international people alike. And I'm here in Essaouira hoping to find some surf. I'm about halfway through my 2-week odyssey through Morocco and sitting here in, I think, one of the great cinema destinations on earth, especially for independent cinema, that being Orson Welles Park, the site of where he filmed Othello. kind of makes me ruminate about his career. So much frustration, so much futility after he did Citizen Kane, so many attempts at defying the system, and I think his production of Othello was perhaps the bravest and most brilliant. And after Citizen Kane, it could arguably be considered his greatest cinematic achievement. So anyway, I'm sitting here with Saeed, who did incredible work driving late into the night through the pitch black landscape that is Morocco to make it to Essaouira to find out that there are no waves, which I suspected anyway. But there's plenty of wind and plenty of ocean, and more than that, plenty of history in the ancient Medina behind me to explore. Here I am now. I'm sitting atop the fortifications that overlook Essaouira's port. These fortifications were built, around 1150, and it helped as an early protection against any kind of invaders. And surely there were invaders that would be coming in the following centuries, most notably the Portuguese and then the Spanish, and always they were competing with their domestic occupiers, meaning the Arabs, the Jews, and the Berbers. And I'm standing here in this parapet, and this place is very well known for the wind. It really howls into this harbor and makes it a new mecca for windsurfing. But the fishermen are coming in and cleaning their nets and untangling and selling the fish, which are offering up a pretty pungent smell on the wharf below. And this little spot that I'm in definitely qualifies as a UNESCO World Heritage selfie site. Everybody's here taking pictures. And I happen to overhear actually one of the tour guides, and he was mentioning the Jewish people had incredible success as traders. They were relocated here in like the 12th century, and then they made a fine career of it here with trading spices and all kinds of goods that were caravaned from the interior and from out the port to places across Europe and the globe, and later the New World. I'm back. I caught my first wave in Africa today, finally, after a week of excursions through the interior. That includes Chefchaouen and Fes. Now, as of yesterday, I arrived in Essaouira, a coastal port. Very old, I don't know how old, it was over 1,000 years it's been here. The Portuguese were here, the Arabs, Berbers, everybody's had a piece of it. Jewish people had a big influence here with the traders. Has a port that is very beautiful. Every day the fishing boats come in and offer up a huge menu of fresh fish that we enjoyed last night on the waterfront. But now, as of today, I finally caught my first wave, courtesy of Explora Water Sports. I'm right here on the seashore, just south of the main port, and with me is the owner and the head man, a local surfer. He knows the scene here. He kindly referred me to some other point break spots down the coast, but we're going to probably go tomorrow. With me is Momo. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, I want to talk about just like the surf scene in Morocco and how long it's been sort of happening and when it became a destination, specifically Essaouira. So how long have you been surfing?
Well, first thing, I've surfed all my life since I was a kid. So which is my older brother taught me how to surf, and it's a family thing. So I took my younger brother too. So it's almost 25 years now I've been surfing there. So that's all my career I've been doing in the sea. And about the surf community in Morocco, it started like ages ago. It's since 1970s or 1960s, it's been a long time. And become very famous in the 80s and been spreading out around the cities and everything. And about my hometown, it's wind city. It's famous for windsurfing, kite surfing and surfing.
And your hometown is Essaouira.
Exactly, which is my hometown. Yeah, we're so happy to get like a winter time is coming soon, and then we have a perfect weather is coming. We're gonna have a daily surf trips like from Essaouira and around the south coast. We'll be like wave everywhere. We can We can't wait to have it again.
Yeah, so today I went out and we just went a few kilometers down the coast, and I got basically, hip high, 1 meter beach break on the incoming tide. But really, this place is really famous for point breaks, right?
Exactly.
Long point breaks. So that's sort of where I surf. So I'm from Malibu in California, which is like a mecca for point breaks.
Point break.
So we pray towards Malibu here.
That sounds really good there.
They're women in thongs and in Malibu point break. So that's sort of my home break. But this is different today, at least with these conditions. Would you describe us to be a little bit between seasons right now in terms of the waves?
Well, like between the seasons, of course, every season has different kind of waves, though. So summertime is the low season of the waves. It's like very quiet, though, just mostly for beginners, intermediate level that people can surf.
Yeah.
But for high levels, will be mostly winter time, autumn time, which is where the swell is coming and it's pumping every time. So of course, always different seasons, different ways.
Different ways.
So the lowest season is the summer times, which is very weak there.
And that's right now. So I scored. I got a double over toe, ankle high waves on beach break, but I got a camel ride as well, and the camel was yeah, and I got a good picture, double overhead camel. It's hard to time the surf when you take big trips. I can't I can't look at the swell reports and go, all right, I'm going to Morocco tomorrow and catch this swell. I just got to go when I can go and catch what I can catch. But I definitely would like to come back here. Sure. And now you mentioned the place that we're going to go tomorrow as a point break, cool place. What was that town again?
Emswan, called Emswan. It's a very nice village. It's one of my favorite spots that I surf the whole time. It has a quality of waves there.
And do you think, who knows, but this time of year, is there always a little bit of surf, maybe small, 1 meter, 2 meter?
It's about the swell. If it's really pointing in the right direction, 100% swell, you will score some good waves in there.
Even this time of year?
Exactly. Even if the swell is a little bit small, if it's 100% pointing to the right direction, you will have a good fun in there.
I always feel like, trying to catch the right swell direction, it's like trying to put a cue ball in the right pocket. It's got to be right in the right direction. And if you catch it, you're lucky. And if you don't,
next one is coming.
Next one's coming. But to me, part of the fun of surfing is nunca sabe. You never know. So if you don't score, that's part of the sport. It's part of the adventure.
It's a nice thing to be out in the water, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's always good to be out in the water. And for me, an American from California, the history here, the culture, the multicultural. One of the great things for me about surfing is people from all over the world, different religions, different cultures, different backgrounds. If you're a surfer, it's like it's one world. You know what I mean? It's like its own communication. It's a great bridge between cultures.
And also, you're inspired from all these kind of people who's travel around the world to your countries. You meet so many people from different cultures, from different countries, and you pack in more experience. You learn from each other, which is a really good thing for me. So those people who comes to Morocco, want to visit Morocco, it's a dream for them to come down. So you must treat them so well because they come to visit your country. So you must give them a huge advantage for them, show them around town.
So Momo, a little bit about yourself. So you grew up in Essaouira, but the village that you spoke about, that's where your family's from as well?
Exactly. So I'm 100% local, born and raised in Essaouira. So born in here 100%, all my family. So my parents are from here. From the same, we got brothers and sisters, all of them from the same parents too. So some of them, they're in the sea like me. Some of them, they've got no idea about the sea.
You're either called to the waves or you're not. It's like people that are called to the surf are here, and people that aren't, they're doing their own thing.
My hometown is also famous for art and music and the sea. The water sports is very famous here.
Right. And yesterday it was really on fire for the windsurfers. It was their day yesterday. Today it's kind of a tweener day. It's no viento, no wind, and some small surf. Now, your history is interesting because you grew up in Essaouira, but you also spent some time in England. And how did that happen?
Well, I was on vacation there. I wasn't programming to live there in that time, so just went there for vacation. Then I afterwards ended up doing my English degree, and I really liked it. People are so cool, different culture, different weather, different vibes. It's part of life, which is really good. You can learn from it. Yeah. And it's still one of my favorite countries that I've ever been. I have so much experience with those people. They are so cool. I worked there for a little bit in UK. I teach a bit of surfing there. It was really good times. But it was so cold.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like I don't want to go to. I don't go to England to surf. UK surf is not exact. Isle of Wight, man. I scored on the Isle of Wight, man. It was so good. Wow. So we've got a pretty good breakdown. We're gonna head tomorrow. Where are we gonna go? The town again.
You guys go to Imswan. It's one of my favorite spots.
We're going to see if we can catch at Imswan a little bit farther down the coast as we wind our way down towards the equator. I'll tell you one thing that surprised the hell out of me. I mean, the water was nice. It was very nice, but it was way colder than I expected.
The Atlantic Ocean is always cold. So this is the first day that the weather is getting better and better. But the next 3 days, the water is going to get warmer and warmer, because if the wind is blowing, then the water is super cold down.
Right, because what happens is when the wind blows, it's like a Ferris wheel. It's upwelling, and it brings the cold water up to the surface, and it's like, what? Oh my God! But now the winds have died down, and the water's warming up. So I actually surfed one part of the session with the wetsuit, and I said, I don't need this, and I just trunked it, and it was fun. So Momo, I want to thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Happy to talk to you, and nice meeting you too.
Once again, if you get to Essaouira and you want to surf, you want to windsurf, you want to kite surf, you want to sup, you just want to hang at the beach, you got to check out Explora Water Sports. Ask for Momo. He'll break it down for you surf-wise and otherwise. And he's a really cool dude, and I had a really good time. And thanks, man.
You're very welcome. Thanks to you.
Yeah, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. One of those. Imswan, a fishing village about halfway between Essaouira and Agadir, and I'm having lunch or a barbecue fish lunch after surf here in the little cove break, which as a surfer, frankly, it reminded me a lot of Scorpion Bay down in Mexico, San Juanico. It's a peeling right-hand point break with big tidal variations during the course of the day. You got to get the tides right. Right now, I have to say that the swell was, well, let's call it double over toe. It was small. I didn't quite score size-wise, but I did get a chance to see and feel the wave, which really you can see under the right conditions would be an absolute magic carpet ride of joy, leading from the portal entry where the fishing boats, right now you can hear the tractors beneath me as they're hauling the boats out of the surf zone up this ramp, and beyond which is the market where they're selling every manner of living species out of the ocean, and most of which right now are on this table staring at me. And we had the sardines with the salt, the mint tea, the tuna, the squid, really a feast, topped off as always with Coca-Cola provided by Saeed Ben Saeed, my favorite brother here in Morocco. And sitting by my side is our host and a resident of Imswan, is Mubarak Ben Imswan, right? You're from here, and you've sort of seen the whole surfing thing blow up here in your lifetime. Just talk about the experience you had when you first saw surfers and what that meant to you.
Okay, so like in my first look to see like some surfers, I was working here in the harbor, cleaning the boat, and I was like a little fisherman helping like a grandfather in the boat. And they saw like two person. They having some boards. I didn't know that is the board, like something like the wood. And then they try to catch waves. I said what they are doing. This is like the high waves, and then they are crazy. They wanna die or run. But after that, After that, when I ask what they are doing, and they explain to me, yeah, this is like surfing. They try to catch waves. This is like in Europe. There is like in Hawaii, there is like a champions, and like in Brazil also there is like kite surfing also. So from there I have some experience about surfing, and then I really like it. And my first time, it was here also in this one. I tried
At this spot right here where we're looking? Okay.
yeah, in the bay, exactly. There was some family. They doing like surf trip, and then I was watching them surfing, and then they comes to me straight away. They say, "Do you wanna try?" I said, "Yeah, I wanna try," but I was not speaking French or speaking English, only like Berber. My language, it's Berber. Then they give me the board, and then I feel that feeling the first time. It's like, and like what I say, like the first wave, it's changing my life. When they pushed me, and then I was stand up in the board, and then from there I like it. And then I was asking like one friend of me, he have a surf school here. And then I say to him, please, can you give me the board if I wanted this? And he say, okay, you know what? You can come and to help me in the surf school to clean wetsuits and clean the boards, and you can learn surfing with us easily. And then yes, from there I don't want work anymore. In the with the fishermen to clean boats. So I jump in surfing. They learn me how to surf when I have like time off. Right. When I finish my job there in the surf school, and then they take me with them, and then they push me in the waves. So from there I start surfing. It was like 14 years old, but they have maybe 14, 13 between like this. So from there I start surfing, and I like surfing, and how the idea comes to me to have like a surf shop. Like some friends of me also, I take them to my mom place, and she cook the couscous for them, and they take care of them for food, for fish, and they really my friends. Then they lit one board for me and the wetsuit, and from there I start to ask the others, please, if you have some board like old one, you can leave it for me, and some wetsuit. From there I make some boards, like I start with the 5 boards, like it was like the soft boards and the hard board and some wetsuit, and then I built the surf shop with the wood, the small one, and then from there I have some experience, and then I ask the people to make me some credit with the money, and then from there I get up, like I built like a big surf shop, and the surf shop it's named Mobile Blue Wave.
Mobile Blue Wave.
Because my nickname it's Muba.
Moba Blue Wave. Surfing helped you escape a life on the fishing boats, basically. And we were just sitting here like 2 seconds ago, and we saw a fight break out between a young man and I guess a guy on a boat. What happened? Do you know? Silly stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he didn't ask the fisherman to give him the fish, and he tried to take the fish by himself. And he said, "This is not good. You have to ask." And he's not from here. He's from outside M1. He's coming from somewhere I don't know. And when I go to try to make everything like safely, please, peace between you. What happened? I will pay the fish if he steal it. And then they respect me. They know me and they know them. Of course, the fishermen, and they say, okay, Mubarak, when we see you, okay, so there is no problem anymore. So I fixed the problem faster.
So you actually performed a godly act by helping peace.
Because I love peace things.
Right. So in Imiswan, we've got the bay, which is a right-hand point break. Today, admittedly, pretty small, but I just look here and imagine on a big day, head-high wave, you can catch them from outside here and go a whole kilometer.
Later we will finish our surf in the cathedral.
In the cathedral is the other side. And that gets different swells, the other break?
Yeah.
Yeah, I surfed there yesterday. It was really fun. really enjoyed it.
And the reef point also, the reef point, we can try to surf in the reef point or cathedral. We can check first which spot it's working, which spot is good for like longboarding or shortboarding. So we can try.
To experiment.
Yeah.
And I'm looking across there. I see another village across the bay. What is that?
The next village it's named Tilde.
Tilde.
Yeah.
And that's Berber village too. And this is Berber also.
Berber also, yeah. All these areas there is only Berbers people.
And I noticed the Arabic and the Berber on the signs.
Yeah, because the Berbers, okay, so I have to talk about the colonizations, because the first people who live in Morocco, it was like Berbers. Then Arabic comes.
Right.
You know why? Why the Berbers? They live in only like in the beautiful places. If you go to some beautiful places in Morocco, you find the Berbers. They are locals, because when they was fighting about the land with the Spain and the French, and the men they was scary about the family, and they take them to the mountains. Okay, they take them to the mountains because they're scared about the others to kill the family. So that's why all the Berbers, you find all the Berbers, they live in the mountains and in the beautiful places. Like for example, like here in Rimswan, like in Sidifni, like in Paradise Valley, like in Ukimden, like in Chefchaouen, in Ifran, Chefchaouen, like in Husima, like in the very beautiful places. And also like the Berbers, they always taking care of the place where they live, clean. And why they call us Imaziren? Imaziren because it's mean like freedom. Imaziren, it's mean freedom, free man. Amazir, it's mean like free man.
Right. And so that helps people understand why the Berbers are where they are in contemporary Morocco, on the sea, in the mountains, in the most picturesque, beautiful places, some of which I was fortunate enough to visit, Ifran, Chefchaouen, of course here. And these mountains that I'm looking at, these are the lower Atlas mountains that surround the sea. Wow. Well, thank you so much for this interview. And for all my surfer pals that are checking in on this, here's a heads up. If you get to Imiswan,
Nice one.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. But if you get down here, you got to check in with Imiswan. He can set you up board-wise, housing-wise, wave-wise, and otherwise. And I'll be checking out now. This is Bill Kalmanson on the Rebel Without Applause, coming to you now with the tractors pulling the fishing boats up the ramp out of the ocean, and they'll be selling those fish in the marketplace, some of which we just had for lunch. Coming to you from Imiswan. Adios, goodbye, and adieu.